Hello, everybody. Welcome back to yet another chat with myself and Justine to talk more about Reiki and coaching and things that are really going to be useful to you when you want to grow with intention.
Absolutely. I've been at a lot of networking meetings recently and realizing that the way that I introduce myself as a multi-hat wearer sometimes blows people's minds because I'm like, I do this and this and this and this and this. But actually, the way that it keeps me sane and the way that my diary is not absolutely terrifying sometimes is Reiki. and is all the tools that you and I use and have learned and implement. So this chat couldn't be any more on topic from the things I've been talking about in the networking world over the last couple of weeks.
Oh, amazing. So we can actually even bring on some of the questions that people have brought on to really kind of help clarify to our audience, like, well, there's so much, but then what do you do with it? Like, and what do you mean? What do we mean by tools? So before we go any further, let's do a quick intro in case there's anyone new here who hasn't met us before and are just wondering, like, who are these two? So Justine, why don't you go first?
Well, who am I? I'm Justine. As I just briefly mentioned, I'm a multi-hat wearer, but sitting here today, I am a body confidence coach and Reiki master practitioner. And Janette and I love a chat. So here we are, just, capitalizing on the fact that we enjoy a chat, and why not go live with it?
Absolutely. And so, hi everyone, I am Janette Wong, and I am also a life coach and a Reiki practitioner. Surprise. And what I do is I work with high achieving women to really get them off that hamster wheel of stress, of burnout, of overwhelm, so that they can actually live this life in a way that they want to, whether it's through adventure, whether it's through peace, whether it's through doing less yet having more. Whatever it is that they really want in their dream life, let's make it a lifestyle, not just what's the next tick list that I need to do. So that's what we both do. And I think, like Justine said, this topic for us is really, it is intentional because we were having a conversation like maybe a couple of weeks ago, and we're just talking about, well, what is it that we want to bring? What is it that we want to bring to the world? And one of the topics that we came onto, actually, it's about tools. Are people aware of what coaching is, how it helps to empower others, no matter whether you're a man or a woman, doesn't matter. And actually, how can we serve our audience the best? So let's go and say, let's talk about coaching. We talked about how we have different coaching styles. So why don't you share a little bit about your coaching experience, or your experience before coaching and as a coach?
Yeah, so my experience as a coach and my coaching style is quite varied, actually, and it's evolved in a lot of ways, because I started my coaching over 10 years ago when I owned and ran the Curves Fitness for Women franchise. So there, my title was circuit coach. Because I was training and helping people within the circuit. And it was all very much about physical fitness. And it was very much about coaching women on their fitness journey when they were in the circuit at the gym. On the side from that, we did consultations about goal setting. Sometimes we talked about weight management. Sometimes we talked about the reason why they were there to get physically fit, all in the coaching world, really. And at the time, we learned very much about the different coaching styles. There's 5-6 different types of coaching styles, but the two that really stuck out for me in my training back then was about being either the cheerleader or being the drill sergeant. Actually, I think being the professor was one of them too. So like coaching styles, like you can be the professor, you can be the drill sergeant, you can be the cheerleader. And over the years, as I developed my coaching practice and moved from fitness coaching into more of the life coaching style of things that we both do now, I realized that most of my style has throughout been more cheerleader than drill sergeant, because whilst I do very much help people to get, actionable results with their goals and their desires, it's still a little bit more in that cheering from the sidelines way than the drill sergeant way of trying to, it's more carrot than stick is my style. What about you?
I love that, because actually, everyone's got a different way, and sometimes when I hear you talk, I realize that I actually started coaching unaware, completely unaware, but I actually started coaching way back when I used to have to train up all the interns when I was in corporate. And every intern from our team went through me, rightly or wrongly. It was not, and I think it's just one of those things that I actually realized, I quite enjoy this. But my style is very different. I wasn't someone who would like, here's the job, this is what you do, and I mean, obviously the basics you got to cover, but I would more be like, well, questioning and asking them for their answers, and to see actually, to help them understand that they have so much creativity and capability within them that they didn't even realize. And I think that was part of the fun, because sometimes they'll come up with some crazy ideas of like, no. Sometimes they would be like some amazing ideas that I've never even heard of before. Like, good on you. I'd never even thought about that. So, it's just actually, for me, my coaching style is more about asking you the questions to help you understand what are you capable of. If you're feeling stuck, what are you, why, and understanding what, like, what's the deep rooted beliefs that you might have, or what is the reason why this might be the reason at the top why you think you might be stuck, but actually deep down, what does it mean? And before I was even a coach, I realized that, actually thinking back, I actually did change quite a lot of interns' lives. Like, they became so much more independent than ever before. And it was just, they all keep in touch with me since then, to kind of just to give me a little bit of an update. I'm like, oh, this is really sweet. But officially, training wise, it's kind of about 3 years ago. And throughout this time, like you said, Justine, it's all about evolving myself. How can I do more? And a lot of people who have been following me on social media have known that I actually recently graduated from the Lisa Nichols certified trainer program, and that's actually a year-long program training me to be one of the best transformational life coaches out there. And for me, actually being a coach as well is, regardless the coaching style, is, have you been there? Like, not necessarily have you been in that particular situation, is, have you been all the way down to the depths of like the however many floors that we have to go down to, rather than I have the skills to take you to floor 20, but I've only been to floor 5. Because otherwise, I feel like, actually, if you've not been to floor 20 yourself, you can't bring the other person back up in a safe way, in a way that people can go, okay, I've got absolute confidence that you're going to hold my hand, and that because you've been there. And I feel like that, for me, regardless of coaching styles as well, is one of the most important things for us as coaches to be able to do.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's all very much embedded in empathy there as well, understanding how our clients got to where they are, what they might need, how we can relate to them, how they relate to us. I often have people saying to me things like, who do you like to work with? And it's a tricky question, actually, and one of my answers does seem really vague, and it's the people who want to work with me. And I know that sounds really vague, but the point there is we both do a lot of networking, and there are, coaches are 10 a penny in a lot of the environments that we're in. I mean, let's be honest about that, but what makes us all really different is our story. So it's exactly what you were just saying, and it we are differ from each other also because of our story, because of our background, because of our personal experience, because of the way that we interact with the tools that we've been given from our own coaches and mentors. And then it's the vibe, two people who graduate from the exact same program are going to attract two different clients. The one person's not going to look at the two people and say, oh, should I go here? Should I go here? Should I go here? Because they're going to go with the person that they vibe with. They're going to go with the person that they trust. The tools might be the same. The way they're delivered might be similar. But, the way that vibe and that connection and the way in which the tools are then interacted with is going to be based on the coach's personal story. So that's kind of what I mean when I say I like to work with whoever wants to work with me. So I know it sounds vague, but actually it's really quite specific.
Yeah, and I think actually, whilst we're on this topic that you've brought it up, I think it's really important to touch upon it. Is like, if you're, first of all, is like, let's say you decide that you want to have a coach, what to look for. And I think one of the things is like, first thing is, do you like that person? Like, really importantly, because I'm not going to say any names, but there is one particular person who's super renowned in like the meditation world on YouTube. There's loads of stuff out there. I just don't like their voice. And there is no amount of stuff, no amount of work that they can put out in the environment, in whatever, for me to be able to benefit from that person's work. Not because I hate that person and that person is not doing good work.
Yeah.
It simply is because I just don't get on with that voice when they're doing a meditation, and that is it.
Yeah, and that's also what I mean by and vibes with me.
Yes,
because it's all of those things, and we are, and this is the language that you and I both speak, and hopefully our audience understands what we're talking about here. But this is why our Reiki supports our coaching, why our coaching supports our Reiki, because we very much understand that we're all energetic beings and that everything is a frequency and everything is an energy. And the relationship between coach and coachee is no different. It is a vibrational energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no need to kind of like think, oh, you can by all means keep trying, but if you don't like it, then you don't like it. If you don't like the person, and it is very much, as you say, Justine, it's all about, the vibe. Do you like the person? Do you like that person's way of speaking? Do you like the person's way of presentation? Some people like to use slides, some people don't. Some people talk a lot. I talk a lot. Some people don't. Some people prefer to just sit there and ask a question and let you think about it. I'm like, I'll give you theory and I will give you thinking time and questions, and I will challenge you to make you feel comfortable. Because if you're not feeling comfortable, in my opinion, if I'm not making you, not in a bad sense, obviously, but in transformational sense, you can't get into transformation until you feel discomfort, because otherwise you're in your comfort zone.
That's a really good point.
And people are trying to find the way of transforming in like this smooth sailing, easy, like, oh, I'm just gonna float and just vibe and everything. It doesn't work like that, because by definition, comfort zone is comfortable, otherwise it's uncomfortable. Anyway, we digress.
You're absolutely right. We can liken it to so many different things. Liken it to the person who joins a gym and thinks that just because they have a direct debit to a gym, they're automatically going to get fit and healthy. But no, you actually have to go to the gym. Same with a networking group. You can pay for your monthly subscription. If you don't show up, you're still not going to make any new business. Like,
true story, by the way. So probably quite a few years now, I don't know, like 6, 8 years ago now, I paid for a personal trainer at the gym, went twice a week, paid out a lot of money for it. I had 8 weeks to try and get myself more firmed up and, looking better, because I wanted to look good for my brother's wedding. By the end of it, I gained weight. I looked fatter. Like I was more. And I was like, what? And I just felt more like awful because I made it the coach's problem. Well, I'm coming to you. You're going to tell me what to do. So by definition, I'm going to feel better and I'm going to look better, etc. And that at that point, I was chasing weight. This was a long time back then. But, it went completely the other way. And I was upset at the time, because this is way before I knew all of this. I was quite upset at the time. But that really, what you just said just reminded me. Everyone, just because you're showing up at the, you got the membership, even if you're there, it doesn't mean you don't do the work on your own, because just as soon as you come out the gym, you go and, grab your, I don't know, caramel latte from Starbucks. I shouldn't name no names, from somewhere, right? I'm just making a coffee place, or and then you go and get a McDonald's breakfast. It doesn't do anything for you. So it's all about showing up to the sessions. Well, first of all, choosing the coach that you resonate with, and then showing up to sessions ready to feel exposed, literally.
Yeah, and to put in the work.
And then to really put in the work with the tools that you're given.
Yeah.
And as what me and Justine have both, in our discussions, we realize is that we both love giving tools. And then then you go try them. You don't have to like all of them. Just because it's good for me doesn't mean it's good for you. And that's why we always learn loads of different types of tools. And we learn from each other different tools and different theories, because actually it's not one size fits all.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the tools can be adapted. So, it's just because they're called tools doesn't mean that they're not going to actually be able to be tailored or adapted. And sometimes, sometimes you may work with a coach and they'll introduce a tool and you think, oh, well, I tried something really similar with another coach before and it didn't work. Well, that was at a different time. You were a different person. That coach was different. That's all in the past. Try it again with a new perspective. We'll tweak it. We'll look at it differently. See how you are right now with it and what needs to happen. And if it still doesn't work, it still doesn't resonate, it's still not right, we'll move on to another one. But I think it's really also important that, when one comes to coaching, regardless of the tools that are being presented, that one is really kind of open-minded and ready to put in that work. Because even if it's exactly the same tool with the same instruction, if it was given 2 years ago when you were where you were 2 years ago, and it's given today where you are today, you are a different person. That tool is going to work in a different way.
Yeah. Totally. And an example that I can think of is I had a client. So one of the tools that I do give out, and I'm happy to share here, is, doing mirror work. And basically is you looking at yourself in the mirror. And this is particularly important and for me, and actually useful. I found one of the most transformational tools that I've got is actually mirror work of looking at myself in the mirror, and or yourself in the mirror, and actually saying, I love myself because I am worthy, because I am beautiful, because, and fill in I am with whatever else word that you actually are in the lack of. And just look at yourself, because actually when you don't have the self-worth and self-love, you're not able to actually attract it and get it into your environment because you can't accept it.
Mm.
And I gave this out to one particular client, and she was like, I just can't do it. I
Mm.
can't do it. I tried so many times, and I just feel really cringy. I feel really like just it just gives me shivers. I just feel so uncomfortable. One of them, so I gave them to a few clients. One of them actually said, I can't do it just staring at myself, but I can do it when I'm doing my makeup.
Mm.
Oh, amazing. Adapt it. And then, by the time I finish my makeup, I actually have a smile on my face and my makeup on. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that is beautiful. I love that. And the one who just said, I just can't do it. She actually said, I can't do it standing in front of a mirror, but I can close my eyes and say those things to myself.
Mm.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely all about, adapting and even like, dare I say, graduating up or advancing, because sometimes because I use a lot of mirror work as well. And sometimes taking a mirror out and saying these things directly to the mirror. I mean, I, I often say it's an advanced move, because one does need to build up to it sometimes. I mean, some people can straight away. When I very, very first started networking, and driving to the networking sessions, I'd prepare my 60 seconds and I'd practice it in the car. But what I would do is I'd actually look in the rear view mirror. So I could look in the mirror to practice it, but then I wasn't still looking directly back at myself. Because the angle of the mirror. So I was looking at the mirror, and these are, like you say, with the makeup, with standing in the mirror but eyes closed, and then graduating up to doing it with the open eyes, looking in a different mirror. Like there are just so many ways to build up to it. And what does seem like a really scary tool for somebody straight away. And again, like I said, sometimes you might scrap that one entirely. If you've tried it a couple of times, you've adapted it, it's really not working. Just because it works for me does not mean it has to work for you. I have a client who loves the idea of journaling, but sitting down with a journal, it just doesn't work. But leaving voice notes with the journal prompts works. It still gets all the words out. It gets it all out of her head, but she's not sitting there writing. So it's like saving time, and like she's hearing her voice do it and just getting, doing that dump, that kind of thing. And I'd never even, she came up with that. I didn't even come up with that. She said, can I do it this way? And I was like, oh my God, that's such a great idea.
Yeah.
So I often learn from my clients as well.
Absolutely. And I think this is the reason why it is so important to actually be adaptive and adaptable as a coach. Tools are there as something that you can lean on and use to practice, but being able to change them up a little bit to adapt to the client, but also to ensure it's useful for them is one of the most important and creative things that as a coach we can do.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and I think another thing that's really important to kind of mention as well, I keep saying the word important today. I was like, we need to remember this. Is actually about how coaches are supposed to be there as an impartial person who is not part of your life, who does not get involved in your day to day, and is just there as guidance and facilitation. What I love about working with my clients is that actually watching them get creative about their life and facilitating that is so beautiful, because if I told you this is what your life looks like and this is what your ideal life looks like, and you try to live it, you will never be able to live it. Guaranteed. And you end up hating it, actually, because that's what I've created and that's what came to my head, but it didn't come to you.
Yeah. And that completely goes back to what I was talking about before, about working with people who want to work with me and connecting that vibe and everything. And, I used to say it regularly with fitness coaching, but it really does apply across the board in that, you could come to me with a particular objective and I could write out a whole workout plan and say what to do, when to do it, how much weight, how much frequency, the duration of it, all of this stuff or whatever. But if I haven't asked you what kind of exercises you enjoy, you may do this plan once or twice. Then you'll start to resent me. Then you'll start to say it's not going to work. And basically, I want these tools to work and I want you to like me.
Yeah, and it's those things I definitely remember. I don't know if you ever heard of this thing. It's called, oh my God, what's it called? It was like T45, T something like that. It's like this exercise program where you do this workout. I think it's Monday, so 2 weeks at a time you do the same one, or was it 1 month at a time you do the same one? But it's every Monday it's the same, then Tuesdays, Wednesdays. And I remember I was so excited about this program when I bought it. I got it, and the first week I was like, yeah. Second week was like, okay. And then by the third week I go, well, Monday feeling a little bit ill because it's cardio day. Tuesday I'm really up for it because it's like, I think at the time it was like called Tabata styles. It was a lot of breaks and a lot of rest. And then Wednesday again, it was heavy cardio. I was like, oh, I'm really busy today. And I start actually like resisting and not really doing. And I came up with so many excuses back then on why I shouldn't do this workout or why I couldn't do this workout. And I think it's actually, having someone there to go, okay, well, first of all is, are you cheating yourself? I think that's right. But also then the second thing is, like you said, if you don't know the kind of exercises that I like doing, or then you don't know if is it I'm procrastinating or I'm cheating myself, or is it a genuinely it just doesn't work for me?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, if someone is someone say a yoga person and I'm suggesting they go to do Zumba 3 times a week, there's a disconnect, but I haven't taken the time to say, do you like yoga or do you like Zumba?
Yeah.
So coaching also very much like you were talking about before, and your coaching style is very much about questioning, asking those questions, finding the likes and the dislikes of our clients so that we know which tools to present, and I think, in this conversation, we've demonstrated a little bit about, what coaching is, because if somebody wants to be a basketball player or a golfer or a writer, like it makes sense for them to go to a coach of those styles. Explaining life coaching, I think, always seems a little bit more complicated, but I don't know why, because like we all want to have a better life, right? And if our life hasn't been working to date and the things we have tried on our own haven't worked to date, why not get some support?
Yeah, so the and kind of like to bring it all together is the reason why me and Justine actually want to work together is because we have got very different styles, and because and it works. I promise it works. We are friends. And the way that actually we are able to bring different types of styles, different way of loving up on you, different way of supporting and challenging you, that's what we really want to bring. And also the various different tools, we've trained completely differently. We've never done a same program together in terms of coaching or Reiki, so we establish ourselves very differently before we met. So actually, we want to collaborate so that we can bring a wide range of tools to you, so that you can feel empowered to continue and go on your journey on your own, or with one of us together. It doesn't really matter, because actually our whole ethos is about how can we support and serve you the best.
Absolutely. And that's how we came up with our workshop series as well. So for those who haven't heard yet, we are collaborating on a workshop series. There are 3 2-hour sessions on Saturdays, starting next Saturday, the 1st of February. They are standalone workshops, so you can come to 1, 2, or all 3. And there is a discount if you get all 3.
Yes, absolutely. And for within that, we are going to bring you the best of both worlds, literally, and where you can actually tap into embracing your new beginnings, starting off with understanding. We are aware that it is not 1st of January according to the calendar, but actually, it's not. It might not even be 2025 yet in your head or energetically. And FYI, Chinese New Year hasn't happened yet. So I'm still in the limbo stage. Chinese New Year is the 29th of January this year. So, it's about embracing beginnings and enabling you to build that foundation for transformation and allow yourself to get really clear on what is that you want to know. And then the second one is all about connecting to your inner wisdom, trusting yourself with what you know and having your own self-awareness. And the third one is about empowerment and manifestation to enable you to embrace more tools and do more energetic work for yourself.
Yeah, I am so excited about these, because at the end of each of these sessions, we're going to learn from each other. So that's a massive tick in the box as far as I'm concerned. And then all the people who come and join us, they're going to get a tool that they can action and use. And they're going to have a group Reiki session, as well as other things within the sessions. So I think for these sessions, it's just going to be so incredibly valuable for anyone who wants to come and learn, grow, live, love, and heal with us.
Indeed. So without even realizing it, it's been half an hour.
That was so quick.
Yes. So for anyone who is interested in checking out our series and joining us on Saturday next week, 1st of Feb, I'm going to put the link in the comments after this so that you can check it out for yourself. Make sure you do take the time to read through all of them, whether you join us for all 3, whether you join us for 1 or 2, it really doesn't matter. Go with what you need and what you want to have in this time. And it's about saving the space for yourself to actually go and create more of what you want.
Absolutely. Right. Sending you all off with love and light.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Bye, everybody.